What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I am your host, JDM. Welcome to Not a Hockey Market Podcast. I'm here to talk all kinds of things hockey. It is February 2nd. We missed a week because you know what, man? Shit happens. What else are you going to do about it, right? But we are back here to let you know about a bunch of stuff that is going on in the world of hockey today. I'm flying solo today. Couldn't get any of my boys to join me, but they will be back joining us all throughout. Now, first off, what we got to do, take care of a little of due diligence and business. So for starters, Not a Hockey Market Podcast is a proud member of Podcast City Network. If you need any kind of information, be sure to visit podcastcity.net and find all kinds of podcasts, the number one place for independent podcasters with an array of topics. If you're looking to become a member, guess what? No membership fee whatsoever. There's just good people helping out, doing good things. And those guys over there, Chris and Craig, are phenomenal. Be sure to check them out on PCN Final Score and also at Podcast City Network. So, also want to make sure that you guys follow us. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels at 90 Miles Media, at Couch Dads Podcasts on Instagram, of course, Podcast City Net, and PCN Final Score. Also on Facebook, follow us at 90 Miles Media, at Podcast City Network, and at PCN Final Score on Facebook. Please be sure, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search 90 Miles Media so you can get all kinds of stuff for Not a Hockey Market Podcast, as well as do your search for PCN Final Score to get up-to-date sports news. We got Super Bowl Sunday coming up. We got a full week of hockey and a lot of information. Holy shit, did we have a lot of stuff happen this week in the world of hockey, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an analysis of everything that's going on. There are some games being played, though, right now as we speak. So let's run through it real quick. Dallas at the end of the second is up on Columbus 5-1. Can somebody tell me what the fuck Joe Pavelski is drinking in his water? Because this dude is not aging. He looks like just at least 10 years younger right now. He's got 2 goals already today. The Dallas Stars have come out fired up out of the gate. So they are looking extremely well. The Montreal Canadiens are up 4-1 on the Vancouver Canucks at the end of the second. Carolina and Chicago are tied at 2 apiece at the end of the second. Arizona and St. Louis also tied at 1 apiece at the end of their period. Winnipeg up 3-1 over the Flames. Minnesota, Colorado just starting off, and then you have the 10 o'clock games of Anaheim and the Kings, Ottawa, and the Oilers. So lots of stuff to talk about. Just a few highlights that we definitely need to make sure to talk about. Buffalo Sabres and the New York Islanders have been postponed. The Devils in Pittsburgh have also been postponed. Vegas is expected to resume their schedule by Friday. The Devils aren't playing till Saturday. Same with maybe even Buffalo. I don't know what's going on there. The NHL is just going to have to try to move forward. That's what it comes down to. They got to push forward. There's going to be postponed games. And bottom line, you're just going to have to extend the season at the end and make up these games. But you got to push through. You're talking about a condensed schedule, baseball style. You're talking about you're playing on fucking ice, of course. In that kind of environment, it's not exactly COVID friendly. It's not outside like football or anything like that. So, and it's a contact sport. So you're gonna, have cases. They have the taxi squad. They're doing what they need to do in postponing games, but it could be at the end of the regular season, they just take a percentage of the points, like whoever has the most points based off of a percentage makes it to the playoffs, or they extend the season for a couple weeks, and finish off the rest of the games, depending on where everyone's at. So that's what's going on with all those kinds of suspensions. It's a little crazy when it comes to it, but let's get into it. I can't do a really, really big show today, so I want to just get into what we got going on throughout. Let's take a look at our Honda West division and talk a little bit about what's going on over there. So in our Honda West division, what are we focused on so much in that West? Is that it is deep at the top. So you do have the St. Louis Blues continue to ride high in that division, tied with Colorado at 13 points apiece. Minnesota, the big surprise so far early in the year. Vegas playing well, and then you have the rest of the league. I'm disappointed with the Arizona Coyotes. I really felt like Arizona was going to be a hell of a lot better this year with that goaltending tandem of Kemper and Antti Raanta. Antti Raanta has unfortunately been hurt for quite a bit, so that doesn't help when Kemper's the one carrying the load. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has also been out. They have found some scoring in Connor Garland. They have found some scoring in Nick Schmaltz and another one, Christian Dvorak, who I think definitely needs to start stepping it up a little bit more. I know that in this game right now with St. Louis, Christian Dvorak did tally a nice little goal there. And I don't know what to tell you, but St. Louis continues to find players that can play. This kid, Jordan Kairuku, I mean, geez, man, what a phenomenal step he is taking as St. Louis continues to look good. The biggest news, though, out of this is that the Colorado Avalanche will be without Nathan MacKinnon. He is week to week with a lower body injury, so that is going to definitely hurt. But is it? I mean, let's think about that for a second. Nazem Kadri, Brandon Saad have really stepped up their game. They're one of the top lines out there with who is it? Is it Don? Yeah, it's Donskoy, Nazem Kadri, and Brandon Saad as that second line. Especially Kadri. Nobody wants to play against that guy. Everybody hates that guy. But when he's on your team, everybody freaking loves him. And that's what it comes down to. The Vegas Golden Knights, they continue to roll. They're 5-1-1, and they continue to look extremely good. William Karlsson, Riley Smith, Jonathan Marchessault, not so much. They have not stepped it up and lived up to what they're usually doing. It's basically the Mark Stone show. He becomes captain, and he just takes that team and is basically piggybacking, putting them all on his back and just carrying them right now. Mark Stone is playing absolutely lights out, offensively, defensively. He's impossible to beat on both ends of the ice, and he's just been a phenomenal player to watch. So the back end also for Vegas, also really good. St. Louis getting some very interesting news. Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko started skating on his own for the first time since he had off-season shoulder surgery for like the second time. He's starting to skate. He's doing a good job. No real clue on whether or not he's going to come back this year, but who knows. And as you continue to look at, in that West Division, Minnesota has been a very nice surprise. Kevin Fiala off to a little bit of a slow start, so that's understandable. He did end up also getting suspended for a couple games, so that doesn't help at all. As I'm in the middle of recording this shit, and I get a text message saying, "Hey, take the parental controls off of your kid's Nintendo." Well, you know what? Sorry, man. Can't be on YouTube the whole damn time. There you go, kid. That Honda West division, I gotta say, the Ducks, the Sharks, and the Kings have been struggling. I'm surprised that Arizona's struggling, and I'm surprised by Minnesota's, been able to jump up. But then again, are we really that surprised? Minnesota has a lot of nice youth there. Jordan Greenway has come out and has played very strong. So that's been a huge boost for that team. Not to mention Matt Dumba playing well, Jonas Brodin playing well on the back end. Really, Minnesota looking nice and fast with some excellent youth there. Right now, Avalanche on the power play, and Nazem Kadri has taken over that slot where McKinnon usually plays. So, Joel Eriksson Ek has also been a nice surprise for Minnesota. I like how he's been playing. It'd be interesting to see if Minnesota can keep this up. Not really sure just yet, but it would be interesting to definitely see if they can keep this up. Not totally sure though. It's an interesting fucking season, guys. It's like you don't really know what's gonna happen with this team and with this squad. Can we just also talk about briefly this kid out of Minnesota, Kirill Kaprizov? This kid's got some hands that are absolutely disgusting. I like what I see out of this kid. He's going to be an absolute star in the making, and Minnesota looking bright with nothing really to lose. So why not go out there with your young guys and let it all fucking hang out and see what you got. So kudos to Minnesota. Hopefully Nathan McKinnon comes back soon. Only time will tell. So as we go, and we're going to go ahead and power through here, moving right along, as they say. We are not a hockey market podcast. I am your host, JDM. Let's get into the Mass Mutual East. Whew, does that look like a disgusting division? Philly continues to be at the top. Washington followed up. Boston in there. Pitt hanging around. New Jersey hanging around. Buffalo continues to slide down, as well as the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers. That is interesting. What is happening in New York? You got Buffalo and the two New York teams, or the Rangers and the Isles, all New York teams, rounding out the bottom three. Too much snow up there. I'm not sure what the hell is going on up there, I got to tell you. But I think a huge part of it, at least for the New York Rangers, is Tony DeAngelo. The stuff that was coming out of New York regarding Tony DeAngelo, I've followed that guy before on Twitter. I've seen all the stuff that he was posting, because I follow a bunch of different hockey players on Twitter, and it was just absolutely disgusting. That dude has been a cancer in the locker room since he was drafted. On draft day, they told everyone was telling people, hey, this guy's a pain in the ass in the locker room. Hey, this guy's a pain. And for 7 years, he has not changed. What on earth do you expect? He's not going to change. He got a chance in Arizona. Didn't work out. He got a chance somewhere else. Didn't work out. Goes to New York. Rumored to have started a fight with the goaltender. Then possible racial slurs to a young rookie. Get the hell out of here, dude. GM has already come out saying that he has played his last game as a Ranger, and he will end up in the KHL because that's where people will definitely want Tony DeAngelo. You're privileged to play this game. You get the chance to, right? Personal feelings aside, you keep them to yourself sometimes. There's no need to broadcast it. There are plenty of hockey players, and let's just call it what it is. Hockey's a white guy sport, and it's been for a shitload. And they, as a community, support the African American hockey players that come into the league. They showed support by standing with Matt Dumba and with Reeves and with others. Knowing that, what, man, it's not my time to be talking. It's not. I'm not going to say anything. No matter what my personal beliefs are, inclusivity, period. That's all that freaking matters. And hockey is for everyone. There's proof right here. This gets me kind of pissed off because everyone thinks, oh, you're from South Miami, so you don't know anything about hockey. You know nothing about, the sport or whatever. Give me a break, man. I'm a freaking hockey fan. You will find hockey fans everywhere, and hockey is for everyone. So good riddance to Tony D'Angelo. Bye. See you later. Whether you like that comment or not, I can't, tell you one way or another. But if you have hateful thoughts or something like that, you know what, man? Keep them to yourself. Nobody wants to hear that crap. And I know some people will say, oh, but nobody wants to hear the other crap too. The other crap isn't spewing hate. So I'll take this. I take inclusivity and hockey is for everyone. Spew that because it's not spewing anything negative. So that's when it comes down to. Tony D'Angelo, goodbye. Hopefully that distraction is now gone and the Rangers can focus back on hockey, because even though Mika Zibanejad has gotten off to a very, very slow start, he's a high trade target if you're in fantasy hockey to go out and get him. You don't need to. He will come back. Don't trade him. If you do have Mika, keep him on your roster. Do not trade him. He will come out of this. Panarin continues to be a force to be reckoned with. I like their young D. Their goalies are going to struggle this year. So it's unfortunate. They're off to a bit of a slow start. Maybe they can bring it back. I'm not sure. But I don't expect them to be bringing it back all the way to the playoffs. What's really surprising here is Boston at 6-1-2. And they just got David Pastrnak back. That in itself is huge. So they get David Pastrnak back, and now they're looking even better than before. Patrice Bergeron's still looking good. Brad Marchand's still looking good. Charlie McAvoy is taking a nice step as a number one D. He's definitely looking a lot better. They put him in all kinds of situations on the power play, on the PK. He's contributed in goals and assists so far. So he's been looking nice. Caps and Philly, not surprised at all. Philly's been dealt with some injuries, but they're getting the great goaltending from Carter Hart. Even with Sean Couturier out of the lineup, they're getting great goaltending from Carter Hart and Brian Elliott. And, what else can you ask for? Hold on one second. This is so ridiculous. Life of kids, boys and girls. Life of kids, So, what else can you say? There, I disabled it. There, he should be good to go. He can play till his little heart is content. Coño. What can I? Yeah, fuck, man. Kids. Philly, Washington, Boston. Pitt is the interesting story. So Pittsburgh did have Jim Rutherford, can't pronounce his name. He did resign and step down. I wonder if it's because they're wondering what to do with Malkin and Letang and Crosby. I mean, you got to keep Crosby regardless, but their prospect pool is completely depleted. They have nobody coming up the pipeline. I mean, what are you going to do? Dr. Pepper sponsor. I'm interesting to see if they try to do anything trade-wise this year, or they just kind of hang on and see where they're at and wait till next year. So that'll be the interesting story there. Moving on, before we get to our next two divisions, definitely want to make sure to remind you guys to please follow, like, and subscribe on all the social media channels there. Taking a look at our scores, Columbus making a little bit of a run right now. up now, or Dallas is now only up 5-3. And that's the next division that we are going to tackle here, which is the Discover Central, as they like to call it. I don't know why they call it that. It's a ridiculous name, but hey, the Discover Central. And right now, we do have a pretty good matchup with the Dallas Stars and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Huge trade news. Patrick Laine, Pierre-Luc Dubois, they switched locations. Pierre-Luc Dubois went to the Winnipeg Jets. Patrick Laine comes over to the Columbus Blue Jackets and is currently playing in the game with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Current score 5-3, about 11 minutes left in the third. Joe Pavelski, really the story out of the gates here, as he, just continues to find ways to score. I mean, this guy is amazing. He potted his 6th and 7th goal, along with an assist. But give it up to Columbus with 2 quick goals in the third, one from Mikhail Grigorenko and one from Dean Coogan, assisted by Grigorenko as well, and they made it a 5-3 game. Interesting to see how much playing time Mr. Laine is going to get. He's playing quite a bit. He's got a couple penalties, he's got 1 penalty. He's got 2 shots on goal. He's a -1 right now, logging about 16 minutes of ice time. So he is getting the playing time. He is out there with Cam Atkinson, and he is out there with Alexander Texeira, I believe it is, or Max Domi a little bit maybe, but they're putting him out there. The benefit of having Laine, I feel, is actually going to go to the defensive core of Columbus. Seth Jones and Zach Werenski are going to benefit the most. Not the center. The 2 top Ds are going to benefit the most from having him back there. Seth Jones, finally, who I have on my fantasy squad, popped in at least a freaking goal in today's game. So that's good to see. Any other updates on scores? It's still 4-1 Montreal over Vancouver. So that is still, correct that, 4-2. And St. Louis put one on the board to make it 2-1 over Arizona. Still 2-2 Carolina and Chicago. 3-1 Winnipeg over Calgary. And Arizona just potted one in. 2-2. Nicely done on the power play. So you got all kinds of great games in the Central. Florida up top at number 1. Let's go. Tampa Bay right behind, both at 11 points, along with Columbus at 11 points, but they've played a hell of a lot more games. Carolina at 10, Dallas at 9. This is the COVID Central Division. Let's not forget that. So Columbus has played the most amount of games. I think they're up to playing right now their 11th game, I believe it is. Double checking real quick on my stats. They are playing their 11th game tonight, where Carolina and Florida are at 6, Tampa at 7, Dallas also at 6. But those are the teams right there. After that, I don't know what's up with Nashville. If there was anybody that could benefit from grabbing a Laine, it would have been Nashville. Their power play is atrocious. It makes no sense with Victor Arvidsson, with Forsberg, who has a phenomenal snipe. Ryan Johansson is supposed to be a 2-way guy, but he's being a very lackluster out there. I would think they would be a lot better. Chicago has shown some grit. Detroit has shown that they are bad. And just trying to play desperate hockey. It's really going to be tight, though, between the top 5 of Florida, Tampa, Columbus, Carolina, and Dallas. That's where it's really going to be. That's where the action's going to be, and it's going to be down to the wire, in my opinion, because Tampa is playing phenomenal. Florida has come out very, very positive out of the gate. And not with their stars, not with Barkov and Hubi. It's with Verhage and Duclair and these new additions that have really, really stepped up for the Florida Panthers and have done really well. For my Florida Panther fans out there, as you know, I am in Miami, so we don't get much, like a lot of gear down here. Well, funny story, my wife was around Ross and she was like, "Hey, I saw a Vegas jersey. You should come check it out." And she sends me a picture. I'm like, "It looks kind of cheap, but $16, get it." Okay, this is the Vegas jersey that she found at Ross, okay? It actually says made in Guatemala because that's the kind of shit that you get down here in Miami if you're a hockey fan. So you know what? You accept it, you buy it, and you move on. I got myself a Vegas jersey. I will probably buy myself another Vegas jersey eventually, but I found one. So screw it. Moving on to our final division, the Scotia North. The Canadian division. This one pisses me off. And it pisses me off to no end because you have two of the best players in the NHL right now with the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. The other day they went off. 6 points for Draisaitl, 5 points for McDavid in a game. They combined for 11 points for an 8-3 spanking of the Ottawa Senators. What did we learn? Ottawa is bad. Ottawa is very, very, very bad. And also, what did we learn? Because even with that kind of offensive showing, the Edmonton Oilers are still not a playoff team. They're still not a playoff team. The Jets are ahead of them by 1 point. I mean, it seems weird. The Oilers are like 5-6. How are they 5-6? It makes no sense. You have two of the best players in the league, and you guys are 5-6. You can't figure out your goaltending. You can't figure out your defense. Darnell Nurse is a beast back there, but he can't be your only defender, guys. He can't be your only one. Adam Larson is not cutting it. Clefbaum is out for who knows how long. Okay? You are wasting McDavid and Leon Draisaitl years by putting something together that's just absolute garbage aside from those two. You know, and yeah, okay, great. They get to play against Ottawa again tonight at 10. That's going to be great. For them, it's going to be nicely done. But that's about it. You need a well-rounded squad. You need a little bit of everything, guys. You can't just expect for those two to carry the load. You know, when it was the Crosby and Malkin show, when they ran off and went to Cups, they had a Phil Kessel, they had a Jake Gensel, they had Letang on the back end. If it wasn't Letang, guess what they had? Marc-Andre Fleury in net, Matt Murray in net. The Edmonton Oilers' net presence is awful, and they're just waiting for a sliver of hope that Mike Smith comes back and brings them a little bit more stability. You know, but come on, man. It is so frustrating to see that division and to think it's early, and I don't think it'll happen. I think they will make the playoffs. I think the Oilers will make the playoffs. But the concept of that they might not, that in this kind of COVID year that you won't have a playoff scenario of Matthews versus McDavid. We've already had a couple of those games, and I have to tell you, they were a little lackluster entertainment value-wise. It was good hockey, but Connor McDavid didn't show up like he did against the Oilers. Now, the scary team, there's two scary teams in this division, in my opinion, and that's the Montreal Canadiens and the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets go out, they bring in Pierre-Luc Dubois to be a 1-2 punch with Mark Scheifele. They let Laine go in this trade to shore up their middle because they have Kyle Connor, and Nicola Ehlers to score on the wings. And now you add Pierre-Luc Dubois into the mix, and if Connor Hellebuck can play Vezina Trophy hockey, they're going to be dangerous because they have one of the better goaltenders in this division. Then you throw in the Montreal Canadiens with Carey Price, with Shea Weber and Jeff Petrie on the back end, with Romanoff and some solid D pieces, and then 4 lines that continue to just come at you in waves like the Vegas Golden Knights. The Habs are taking a huge step forward. Jonathan Drouin, Thomas Tatar, Tyler Toffoli, Nick Suzuki, Josh Anderson, Artti Lehtonen, they're all dangerous. They're so deep right now, and they are clicking. And then you have that kind of offense clicking with Shea Weber on the back end and Carey Price as your fucking goaltender. Toronto went into this division thinking, this is ours in the bag. This is our division to lose, basically, with the talent that they have. And now they're looking around going, Habs are pretty freaking good. Jets are going to be even better once Pierre-Luc Dubois starts playing. And they're looking good. And then you do have Connor McDavid to deal with still. I mean, it's a lot of nice high scoring, and it looks like nobody there cares about defense. But when it comes down to it, and it comes down to the playoffs, defense is going to start to matter, especially goaltending is going to start to matter. And the goaltender that rises up in this division takes this whole division, whether it's Price, whether it's Hellebuck, whether it's Anderson, and he surprises you. I'm not sure if he will, but it could be. So that's what my analysis so far of what we got going on in the Scotia North. Thrilled to have you guys on here. Definitely want to make sure that we continue to do this, and I bring in some guests next time to talk more hockey while hockey's going on. It's February 2nd, so the stats and the standings that you saw below, they do not reflect tonight's games, just so you know. Be sure to catch us on our YouTube channel at 90 Miles Media and look for Not a Hockey Market playlist. That is where you'll find all your Not a Hockey Market podcast content. Also, check us out on our Facebook page at 90 Miles Media, also with Podcast City Network. We're thrilled to be a proud supporter of Podcast City Network. Once again, I am your host, JDM, and I don't know about you guys, but there are some hella games going on right now, so I'm going to go and get to watching some stinking hockey. That's it for me today, folks. I hope you have a wonderful night. Cheers, and I'll catch you on the next one.